Guy that can skate like the wind, the breakaway skill. He can score. Doesn't put up a lot of assists. He's got grit. He's got leadership. He's got size. He can play physical. He can fight. Why do you want to get rid of this player? What's up, you guys? Thanks for tuning in. After the All-Star break, the Canadiens are now on a 3-game winning streak, and I think that has some of you guys a little upset, which we will get to as part of the title. How dare the Canadiens win like this? And as you can probably tell, there's some sarcasm in that title, and we are going to talk about how Josh Anderson, I don't think the Canadiens are going to trade him. I've had several discussions with you guys, I mean, specifically in the last little bit here, about how I think he's worth at least 2 first-rounders, and I just don't know that a team is going to have what it takes to pay for Josh Anderson. That might be more than 2 first-rounders at this point. Anyway, regardless of what the payment would be for Josh Anderson, I don't think the Canadiens should trade him. I'm not going along with just the media narrative or some fan narrative or recency bias of how valuable Josh Anderson is with all the injuries. But I want to talk about this game before we get to that very crux of the subject here, which is, of course, the Canadiens' lack of tanking and if they should trade Josh Anderson, if they can get top value for him. I don't think they should anymore. But let's talk about this game because I think it's worthy of talking about for a lot of reasons. We actually had a lot of things happen in this game. Luke Richardson making his return to the Bell Center, former assistant coach of the Montreal Canadiens. He was temporarily head coach, as you guys know, in the 2021 Stanley Cup run where he head coached the Canadiens to some wins against Vegas, so on and so forth, while Dom Ducharme was sick with COVID. And Max Domi returning to the building last night, him tweeting out a nice message to Canadiens fans. He didn't actually see the live tribute of that the Canadiens paid to him somehow because I don't know if he had his head down or what, but they had the camera on him and he gave a wave, so I don't know if that was a separate instance from the tribute video. But anyways, Max Domi did not have himself a good night, though, and neither did the Chicago Blackhawks. This is the Canadiens' first shutout of this season against the Chicago Blackhawks, going 4-0 or winning 4-0 here. It's going to be one-taker energy today, guys. So anyway, the Canadiens' power play, Justin Barron. I mean, you got to be happy with the way that he has been playing lately. His confidence is up. He scored his second goal last night on the power play, assisted by Jonathan Drouin and Evgeny Dadonov. We're going to talk about Drouin a little bit as well. And then the first period, this is another reason, and I'm going to talk about it now for a second because it happened in the first period. Nick Suzuki, a clean hit on Nick Suzuki from Connor Murphy, and Josh Anderson decides to take exception. Connor Murphy answers the bell, and Josh gets into a bit of a fight here with Connor Murphy and gets some shots in on him. I got no problem with this. I'm not a huge advocate for fighting. It's gone down a lot over the years. However, if you get rid of a guy like Josh Anderson, when guys like Arbor Jackeye and Mike Pizzetta is on the bench, but Jackeye's out of the lineup, who else is going to stick up for your teammates, especially your captain? Arpon Basu tweeting out, of course, here that he doesn't understand why the instigator rule isn't called more often. If it was, maybe guys would second guess when wanting to fight, but I don't think Josh Anderson was going to second guess this one. Whether he was going to get the instigator or not, he's going to stick up for his captain. And you need this. You need this kind of player on your team. Josh is not just a fighter. He's not just a fourth-line guy, eating up minutes, bringing energy and the odd fight. Josh Anderson has a certain set of skills, a certain set of leadership, a certain set of toughness, and he'll step in for his players, his teammates, and especially Nick Suzuki here. Like, if anybody hits their captain like that, whether it's clean or not, you're going to go after the guy. Do you need to fight him every single time? No. But you certainly need to step up, I think. And this is just something that the Canadiens absolutely need. For years and years and years, the Canadiens have been so small. People still complain about them being small, even though they are getting a little bit bigger, I think, on the back and the front end. So when it comes to stuff like this, eventually returning to the playoffs in the next couple of years, you're going to need these kind of guys in your lineup to protect your players when the emotions get high. This is just a average regular season game, but I mean, I just, it's another great reason that we need to keep Josh Anderson, I think. And then we go into the second period where there is no scoring, but the Canadiens maintain a 1-0 lead. They kill off a 5-on-3 against Chicago. Chicago just can't really mount much offense. They're a little disorganized even on the power play. Patrick Kane looks like he's thinking about where he's going to be traded to. Like Jonathan Toews wasn't playing this game. So, go to the third period, though, and after a gloriously missed opportunity on a great pass again from Jonathan Drouin, Yoel Armia gets a breakaway. He can't bury the chance, but not that long after, he gets another opportunity to bury it. And Chicago's goaltender actually did get hurt on this very same play. But Yoel Armia, as we saw, buried a great feed from Jonathan Drouin, first pass from Christian Dvorak. This was just a great sequence, a tic-tac-toe kind of play. And Jonathan Drouin ultimately feeds it across to Armia, who buries it and kind of slides on the ice after the goal. And then David Savard, who has been playing pretty good hockey as well lately, and gets his second goal of the season off a bit of a play, a pass from Alex Belzile and Jordan Harris, but Belzile was the primary assist on this one. And then you get to Christian Dvorak's goal, and again, another assist from Jonathan Drouin, who got the first star in this game. Drouin has 12 assists in 12 games. So if you're going to have any opportunity to trade him, I don't know what a team is going to pay for a rental player like Jonathan Drouin at the deadline. So, but if you're going to trade him, you got to get something for him. He's an expiring contract anyway. So for his sake and for the Canadiens' sake, hopefully a Jonathan Drouin trade can somehow be made. He's a playmaker. He can play on the power play. There's your tools that you can use for a playoff team. But Christian Dvorak with a bar down shot, pass from Yoel Armia and Jonathan Drouin. That's Drouin's 17th assist on the season. No goals still. But yeah, the Habs go up 4-0 and ultimately take this game. So when it comes to the tank, the Canadiens are coming off the All-Star break and they get 3 wins in a row. They're on a bit of a winning streak here. So the positive vibes that came from that Super Bowl weekend, though, beating the Islanders with the powder blue jerseys and finally breaking that curse. And then the very next game, getting the victory against, why is it escaping me? I made a video on it, didn't I? I did a live stream on Sunday, and oh my gosh, the Canadiens beat the Oilers 6-2. How could I forget? And just the positive vibes around the team right now, despite, again, all of the injuries and all the trade talk. We're just over 2 weeks away from the trade deadline here. But when it comes to the tank, you know what, guys? I don't care. I do care. I want to get a top pick. I think we're going to get a top 10 pick. That's what I think. Is it going to be top 5? I don't know. I still think it's a decent possibility, though. I don't know what player that's going to be, although I had a hunch that it could be Adam Fantilli, but maybe not. Who knows? I just think that it's difficult to get angry and upset when the Canadiens are getting W's like these and making the fan base and themselves feel good. And it's not about feeling good in the moment because we're looking long term, I know. But this is also just about developing that winning culture, as we know. So, am I disappointed about these 3 wins in a row by the Canadiens? Absolutely not. It was fun. And the crowd doing the wave in all these games, Bell Center's got good juju again. Good vibes, So, I can't complain about that. When it comes to trades, I think if Sean Monahan and Joel Edmondson can get healthy, those are your trade chips, okay? Christian Dvorak has put his value up. I'm not really ready to get rid of him so quickly yet either, with too many young players coming up. I don't think we can afford to lose Christian Dvorak right now, really. We can't afford to lose many more centermen here. So, when it comes to the trade deadline, Joel Edmondson, Sean Monahan, David Savard, maybe. I think he's expendable. I think he could be expendable. Sean Monahan, Joel Edmondson, and David Savard. Jonathan Drouin has upped his trade value a little bit. I think he's more valuable than Dadonov. I think we could argue that. So, I think Alan Walsh, Jonathan Drouin's agent, is probably in his ear telling him, keep doing what you're doing because he's going to try to find a new home for him. I think that it would make the most sense to try to trade Jonathan Drouin while his value goes up a little bit. Now, are the Canadiens playing a bad Chicago Blackhawks team? He gets 3 assists, yeah. But he played well against Edmonton. He played well against the Islanders. Those 2 are still in playoff contention. I don't know about the Islanders. I'm not certain on that one, actually, but you can correct me if you want. Anyways, I do feel, though, that Jonathan Drouin could be tradable. But let's talk about Josh Anderson for one more second here because that's where I'm going to end this video. And that simply is that I don't think the Canadiens want to trade him. I interviewed Nick Kyprios last year, right at this time, on Habs Tonight. And at that time, Nick is an insider, and he said that the Canadiens don't want to move Josh Anderson. They don't want to move him. So when it comes to a deal for Josh, it's going to be way too high of a price that a team's going to want to pay, in my opinion. He does have term on his deal. It's a 5.5 cap hit. It's affordable in that regard, but it's not affordable in payment because the Canadiens are not going to take less than a major package by the looks of it. I don't know about major is the right word, but they're not going to take anything less than it's going to cost a team. They're going to feel the hit if they want Josh Anderson. So I do think the Colorado Avalanche are going to go after Sean Monahan possibly. I think Edmonton may still want to go after Joel Edmondson. But when it comes to Josh Anderson, the fact is, for me, the value is too high for them to lose him. And I don't know that enough capital's got to come back, unless it involves a 2023 non-protected top 10 first-round pick and a prospect and is what I'm getting at here. So I don't think the Canadiens want to lose Josh Anderson. I certainly don't anymore. I am on the team. I am in the camp of I don't want to trade Josh Anderson. I just don't. I think the Canadiens value him, and I think I value him personally as a fan. I know he's not a top point producer. He might be inconsistent to some folks, but he just has intangibles that you can't replace. You can't replace everything he brings. The speed, the breakaway speed, guy that can skate like the wind, the breakaway skill. He can score. Doesn't put up a lot of assists. He's got grit. He's got leadership. He's got size. He can play physical. He can fight. Why do you want to get rid of this player? Somebody tell me. Okay, you think he's inconsistent at times? Okay. What about all the things I just mentioned? How about when the Canadiens are contending for the playoffs again? You're going to need that. You're going to need that kind of a player. That's where I'm going to end it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Finally going to post my viewer proposed trade proposals this week. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.